Hey, everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Addiction Unlimited. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh, and I'm so glad you're here today because what we're talking about is something I don't think anyone says out loud enough. And it might sting a little, but I'm saying it with so much love, I promise. And real quick before we dive in, my voice is a little rough today. I've been dealing with some irritation from working around paint and sanding, and I waited as long as I could to record this episode, hoping it would clear up, but it's still here. So if I sound a little different or a little quieter than usual, that's why. But this conversation is important, so we are doing this episode anyway. Here's the thing. You want your sobriety to be easy. You want to quit drinking and move on. Just move on. Close that chapter, never look back, and get back to your life without disrupting anything, without doing a bunch of emotional excavation, without being uncomfortable. You want to put the bottle down and pick your life back up exactly as it was, just without the drinking part. And that's exactly why it's not sticking. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but stay with me because by the end of this episode, I think you're going to understand something that is genuinely going to change the way you approach this, not just in theory, but in practice. And before I go any further, I want to say something important. There is nothing wrong with you for wanting this to be easy. Nothing wrong with you. Every single person who has ever tried to get sober has wanted the same thing, all of us. The fantasy of I'll just quit and everything will go back to normal is practically universal. It's not a character flaw. It's not a weakness. It's just human. We are wired to want the path of least resistance. Our brains literally are designed to conserve energy, avoid pain, and seek comfort. Wanting sobriety to be easy isn't some sign that you're not serious or that you don't really want it badly enough. It just means you're a person. So I'm not here to shame you for wanting easy. I'm here to tell you why easy isn't working and what to do instead. Because here's the thing, the desire for easy isn't the problem. The belief that easy is possible, that's where it all starts to unravel. Easy doesn't change anything. And I want you to really sit with that. Easy doesn't change anything. And sobriety, real sobriety, lasting sobriety, the kind that sticks, requires change. Not a little change, not I'll swap wine for sparkling water change, but real, fundamental, sometimes uncomfortable change. And here's the anchor line I want you to walk away with today. Easy doesn't change you. And if you don't change, you don't stay sober. That's not me being harsh. That's just the math of recovery. So let me paint a picture of what easy sobriety looks like in real life, because I think a lot of people are living it without realizing it. And then they're wondering why it's not working, right? Easy sobriety looks like no plan. You decided to quit. That felt big, and it is. But there's no actual structure around it, no accountability, no support system, just a decision. Easy sobriety looks like no changes to your environment. The wine is still in the house for guests. You're still going to the same bars for happy hour because you'll just order a soda. Your Friday nights look exactly the same, except now you're the only sober one at the table, white knuckling it through 2 hours of watching everyone else drink. Easy sobriety looks like I'm just done. Like that's your whole plan. I'm done. And I understand that resolve is real. That decision matters. But a decision without a structure to support it is just a wish. I've talked before about the difference between deciding to get sober and building a sober life. And this is exactly where those two things diverge. The decision is the starting line. The structure is what gets you to the finish. When you're trying to do easy sobriety, no plan, no support, no structure, you're essentially trying to build a house with no foundation. You might get the walls up for a little while, but it's only a matter of time before it falls. A lot of people try to do this passively, and that's exactly why it doesn't stick. And here's where we go a little deeper. When people want sobriety to be easy, what they're really saying underneath all of it is that they want to avoid something. And I want to get specific because you know me, I think naming it is half the battle. You're avoiding discomfort, full stop. The physical discomfort of early sobriety, yes, but also the emotional discomfort, the awkwardness, the cravings, the moments where you don't know what to do with your hands at a party or how to fall asleep without a drink. You're avoiding changing your routines because your routines are comfortable even when they're harmful. You know exactly how your Thursday night goes. You know how weekends feel. You know the ritual of pouring that first drink. And giving that up means sitting in a completely unfamiliar version of your own life. You're avoiding facing your emotions. This is the big one. Alcohol is one of the most effective emotional anesthetics available, legally anyway. It numbs anxiety, quiets the inner critic, takes the edge off of grief and stress and loneliness. Getting sober means all of that comes back online. And if you've been numbing for years, sometimes you don't even know what's under there until it starts to surface. You're avoiding accountability because accountability means admitting that you need help. It means letting people see you and letting people see you struggle. It means showing up to something consistently, right? A program, a therapist, a support group, a coach, and doing the work even when you don't feel like it. You're avoiding doing things differently. And here's the line I need you to hear. You don't just want to quit drinking. You want to keep your life exactly the same. That's not judgment, that's an observation. And it's one worth sitting with because until you're willing to let some things change, routines, relationships, environments, coping mechanisms, sobriety is going to feel like white knuckling it indefinitely. And nobody can sustain that. Let me pause for a second because this actually ties into what we're talking about today. When your life feels chaotic, when your nervous system is all over the place, when you're trying to change something big like your relationship with alcohol, the little things matter more than you think. And I've been really intentional lately about creating comfort in my everyday life, like real comfort, not numbing out, but actually feeling supported in my own space. That's why I love Cozy Earth. Their products are built with so much intention, from their ridiculously soft socks that you can wear all day to their comforters that actually help your body settle down at night. And if you've ever struggled with sleep and sobriety, you know how important that is. It's that kind of quiet, grounded comfort that helps you feel just a little more regulated, a little more okay. And here's the best part. You can try it risk-free. They have a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. So you're not stuck if you don't love it, but I think you will. Go to cozyearth.com and use my code Angela for up to 20% off. And if you take the post-purchase survey, make sure you tell them you heard about it here on Addiction Unlimited, because comfort isn't a luxury. It's part of how you take care of yourself. Okay, so why does this pattern keep repeating? Why do you try and it works for a little while and then it doesn't? Well, same environment, same patterns, same triggers. Same inputs, same outputs every time. If you're still in the same spaces, still around the same people who drink heavily, still using the same coping mechanisms for stress, just minus the alcohol, your brain is running the same program. It knows exactly what the solution to stress is. It knows what Friday night is supposed to feel like. It knows what the sound of a cork being pulled means. You can't out willpower your environment. That's not a pep talk failure, it's neuroscience. Your brain is exceptionally good at following the paths it's already worn down. Willpower is a limited resource, it depletes. And when it's gone, your brain is going to go back to the path it knows best. This is why the environment piece matters so much. This is why the support structure matters. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. And humans are incredibly susceptible to the environments and patterns they live in. Changing the inputs is the only way to change the outputs. And that requires doing things differently, which is not easy. Here's what I really want you to understand. And this is the part that I think makes the difference between people who make it and people who keep cycling through the same pattern. Sobriety isn't just about not drinking. Sobriety is an identity shift. I know that sounds big, and it is. But stay with me. You've been a person who drinks, maybe for years, maybe decades. Drinking has been woven into how you socialize, how you relax, how you celebrate, how you grieve, how you handle stress, how you show up at the end of a long day. Becoming a person who doesn't drink isn't just removing alcohol from the equation. It's rebuilding the entire architecture of your daily life around a new identity. And here's the through line. Sobriety requires change. Change requires work. And work requires discomfort. That's not a punishment, it's just the process. That's how every meaningful transformation works in sobriety, in fitness, in business, in relationships. Nothing real changes without some discomfort. That's just the price of admission. And here's the line I want to leave you with from this part. You don't get a different life by keeping everything the same. Say that again. You don't get a different life by keeping everything the same. If you want your life to look different, if you want to feel different, to show up differently, to have relationships and health and peace that look different than what you have right now, something has to change. Multiple things probably. And none of them are comfortable at first. But here's what I know for sure. The discomfort of change is temporary. The discomfort of staying stuck is forever. So let's talk about what to do with all of this. I want you to stop asking, how do I make this easier? That question will keep you stuck because you'll keep looking for the shortcut, the app, the hack, the pill, the trick that makes sobriety feel effortless. And it just doesn't exist. And every time you don't find it, you'll feel like you're failing, like there's something wrong with you, like other people have some secret you don't have. There is no secret. There is no easy button. The question that actually moves you forward is, what am I avoiding? That's it. What am I avoiding doing? What change am I resisting? What discomfort am I trying to sidestep? Because that thing you're avoiding, that's usually exactly the thing that needs to happen. Are you avoiding getting a sponsor or a coach because it means admitting you can't do this alone? That's your thing. Are you avoiding telling people what's really going on because vulnerability is terrifying? That's your thing. Are you avoiding changing your social environment because you don't know who you are outside those relationships? That's your thing. The avoidance is the map. Follow it. You've heard me talk about this before on other episodes. Like there's always the thing, you know what the thing is because it's always nagging you. Every time you relapse, it's the thing in the back of your head. It's like, you should have done this. You should have gone there. You should have tried that. You know, you need to do this or do that. You know what you're avoiding. And that is the thing. The avoidance is the map. So here's the truth I want you to leave with. You don't need sobriety to be easy. You need it to be effective. Because easy is what you've been trying. Easy is why you keep starting over. Easy is why nothing is changing. And I want more for you than that. I want you to have a life that actually feels good to live. I want you to wake up clear, to trust yourself, to stop negotiating with your own brain every single night. And that doesn't come from waiting for this to feel effortless. It comes from deciding I'm done avoiding the work. Not someday, not when it feels better, not when life slows down, but now. Because here's what I know after doing this for 100 years, the people who change their lives, they don't find an easier way. They become someone who can do hard things. And that's the shift. That's the whole game. So if you're listening to this and you know you're done screwing around, I want you to take action right now. Not next week, not when things calm down, not think about it, not circle back next week. I want you to take action, move. And you've got 2 ways to do that. I've got a small group starting this Saturday called the Recovery Accelerator. This is not passive. You'll have a course to work through on your own time. Then we meet weekly to apply it, troubleshoot what's not working, and get you unstuck. So you have to be willing to show up, carve out the time, actually do the work. But if you will follow through, this will move you forward fast. Enrollment closes tomorrow, April 2nd, 2026, and there are only a few spots. So if that's you and you want to do that, go to addictionunlimited.com/accelerator and grab your spot now. Or if you're sitting there thinking, no, I need more than that. I'm not good at self-paced things. I won't follow through. I want personalized support. I want to go deeper. I want someone in my corner walking through this with me step by step. Then that's private coaching. And you can book a call with me, addictionunlimited.com/call. We'll look at exactly where you are, what's not working, and build a plan that actually fits your life. But either way, listen to me. Don't let this be another moment where you feel fired up and then do nothing. Because staying where you are, that's the only option that guarantees nothing changes. And you deserve better than that. So addictionunlimited.com/accelerator if you want to do the course and group with me, or addictionunlimited.com/call if you want to work with me privately. I love you guys. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.